Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Wakakadash, Barakatham to the elders and apostles, Wa'akim, Wa'akwaf, when I say Shalom. And this is a sit-down lesson of the prophecy updates as of September the 19th, 2025 on this Friday night. And this is a news article from RT.com. As we've been seeing, previous denial allegations, between the tension between Russia and NATO, we definitely been seeing the tensions definitely been heating up between Russia and NATO, especially for the past couple of days. We've seen the Russian warplanes getting closer and closer to Estonia, and then the past two incidents occurred and within the last previous days between Russia and Poland, and then Romania and Russia as well, two close encounters as Russia was violating the airspace from Poland and from Estonia and Romania as well too. As an added side note to that, it says Russia responds to Estonia airspace violation claims. It says Moscow denies its fighter jets cross into the NATO's border. It says the Russian Defense Ministry has denied that warplanes entered Estonia airspace. Earlier claimed that the three Russian aircrafts violated the airspace for 12 minutes on Friday, what it called an unprecedented brazen inclusion. Was that Matthew's 24th chapter? Because even if they did deny the fact, but the tensions are still going to be heating up between NATO and Russia, because which they did previously, and that's right now, especially for these past 2.5 weeks. So those tensions are only going to stir up, despite the fact they denied the allegations of that. But the tensions are only going to stir up. And definitely for the past couple of days, almost close to a week and a half now, we definitely seeing the tensions only going to be stirring up. And we've been seeing it stirring up on an everyday basis. Because every news article you hear every day or a couple of days or the next day, seeing the tensions are only going to escalate between Russia and Ukraine, and then Russia versus NATO. This is it's the book of Ezekiel. Chapter 38, verse 4, it says, "And I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thy army, horse and horsemen, all of them, all sorts of armor, great cupping, buck shields, all of them heavy swords." Right, so Russia is going to be in that warlike mindset because the Heavenly Father is going to continue to do so. Put the hooks and backs of jaws of the Russians, the Edomites, which represents the bear in Ezekiel the 38th chapter, because this is a future prophecy that we see in the making in progress. So definitely the current tensions that we see in Russia, Ukraine, since February 2022 all the way to now. So EU and NATO versus Russia, and then Russia, Ukraine, that's going to intensify as well too. So despite the fact they denied the allegations of them warplanes getting closer to Estonia's airspace, even though they disregard that claim, just like they disregard the claims a few years back or recently, between the tensions of Russia and NATO, especially over there in Eastern Europe, in that region, between the eastern flank and the northern flank of that border dispute, especially NATO building up their allies, building up their military presence, because their borders is not too far from Russia in that region, the northern flank and the eastern flank. So that shows you that despite the fact they've been denied the allegations previous times and recent times as well too. So these tensions are going to stir up as we've been having those latest military exercise drills from Poland, from NATO, from Russia. And Russia fired off their missiles over there in the Arctic area. So it tells you that the tensions are only going to stir up between Russia and NATO. It's like a couple of days ago, you had Belarus and Russia did their military exercise drills, while the with Poland and NATO as well too. So that's an indicator. We see signs of with these, stir up by the day, by the days and months and years. And as of right now, tensions are only going to stir up, as I mentioned before, between Russia and Ukraine, and Russia and NATO. And these are Edomite nations being divided against one another. Like Scripture says, St. Mark the 3rd chapter, if a kingdom be divided against another kingdom, stand. That's what we're saying. So Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 4, it says, "I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and will bring thee forth in all thy army, horse and horsemen, all of them clothes, swords of armor, and a great company of buckled shields, all of them swords." And this is the prophet Isaiah, as we got that statement from the Trump administration when he was over there for the past couple of days over in London, met with the people over there in England, over there in London. And then he had a press conference over there in London, even though he came back to the United States, I would say yesterday, because he had his little visit over there in London for the past couple of days, as they invited him over there, Edomites from over there. Yep, this is and as he made that statement once again, which he previously did, he would say once again he's unhappy of the ways of Vladimir Putin doing with the Russia-Ukraine situation. So this is the book of Isaiah chapter 13, verse 17. It says, "Behold, I will stir up the Medes, right, the Russians against Babylon." It says, "Behold, I will stir up the Medes against Babylon. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which they shall not regard silver, and as for gold, that shall not in." So the tensions are only going to stir up between the United States and Russia, even though it's been going on back and forth throughout the years and years, and recently as well too. So as for gold and silver, they're definitely not going to delight in it. So the economical sanctions, the oil sanctions, they're not going to delight in it. Even the gold and silver as well too, they're not going to delight in it. And this is the book of Matthew chapter 24. It's the book of Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars." Right, so that's what we hear, wars and rumors of wars between Russia and NATO, and Russia and Ukraine. "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars," right, tension between the United States and Russia, the European Union, NATO, the Western countries all together going against Belarus and Russia and their allies. So those are wars and rumors of wars. It says, "See that you be not troubled, for all these things must first come to pass, but then it's not yet. Right, it's going to come to pass, but not going to change just yet." Matthew 24, verse 7. "For nation shall rise against nation," which goes into ethnos, "and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places." Right, so we're seeing the earthquakes in diverse places, and pestilence and famines, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. And we got modern day wars and rumors of wars. As it says again, Russia responds to Estonia's airspace violation claims. Moscow denies its fighting jets crossing into the NATO's border. So even if they did deny the fact, but the tensions are still there, and indicators because they've been showing it for the past couple of days. The tensions have been stirring up between Romania and Russia, Poland, Russia twice. The Russia-Ukraine situation is really too, especially with the military exercise rules from both sides, from Russia and NATO. So, hey, it shows the indicators there. The tensions are heating up between both sides. And that's definitely another sign of building up of modern day wars and rumors of wars. It says that Trump blocks weapons deal for Taiwan, which I'm surprised by that. Moscow rejects media claims and capitalize on, which I'm not going to say. It said Trump will impose terms on Russia and Ukraine in vote reports. It says Putin reveals improvement in Russian military output. It says a brain eating embryo kills 19 people in India. What's that? Second Edge, the 15th chapter. Second Edge, 15 verse 5. That's a part of plagues. You got Matthew, the 24th chapter. It says that U.S. revokes sanctions waiver on India for key Iranian port. Poland blocks vital China-EU trade out to political reports. U.S. State Current Rock VP then is Trump slaying skull lawmaker who married her brother. Like, like she's with the liberals and the Trump administration are conservatives. Yep, as it says, was that St. Mark the Third chapter. Yep, St. Mark chapter 3 and St. Mark chapter 3 and verse 24. It says, and if your kingdom be divided, so people understand why. So you got the leftists versus the righteous. So that's the division between both kingdoms. Yeah, it says, and if your kingdom be divided, because it's other people understand. So we see the division of Edom, the one is being divided. That's what we see. It says, and if your kingdom be divided, because it's other people understand. St. Mark chapter 3, verse 25. And if a house be divided, so the house cannot stand. Right, so that's what we see in the house be divided, which cannot stand. So we see the nation of Edom divided against the conservative Edomites versus the liberal Edomites. So we see the house of Edom is being divided. It says, and if a kingdom be divided, so the people cannot stand. Next verse, verse 25, and St. Mark 3, verse 25, it reads, and if a house be divided, so the house cannot stand. St. Mark 3, verse 26. And if Satan rise up against himself and divide, and I stand and have an end, I will say that is one too. It says that India is ramping up oil imports. Many U.S. trade talk Bloomberg reports. New Delhi is not slowing down purchases from Moscow for the rest of the year, despite Washington's paying tariffs. Right, because I believe they use 50% tariffs on them, despite the fact India, I think it was the prime minister or president of India, met with the Trump administration. I would say like a couple of days ago. Last time I checked. But that's that's still not gonna stop India doing oil deals, with Russia. And that's the most likely scenario that the United States is going to use economic sanctions and more oil sanctions and more other alternative sanctions that they're going to use on Russia. So that tensions are there between Russia and the United States. It's like I brought up that Isaiah 13 verse 17. It says that Trump demands a $100,000 fee for committed tech central H-1B work visas. This is a 3 kid and a third U.S. strike on the last boat in the Caribbean, U.S. Trump says, yeah, tensions are definitely stirring up down there in the islands, Caribbean islands, and down there in Latin America once again. It says 3 kid and a third strike, so that's what 17 people in total. Was that 11 on, got the 11 the first time, 3 the other time, so that's what 14, and plus 3 the third time again is 17, but they deleted so far. So, hey, keep this in mind. I would say, what, like 2.5 weeks ago, you had the President Maduro was saying that's an active war. So, hey, these tensions are only going to stir up. It's only a matter of time if the President Maduro is going to respond back from these actions that the United States is doing. Even they might think it's right in their eyes, but from their perspective, they look at that as an unrighteous creeds. They look at that as active war. Now, if they seen they would have, if the United States would have, local officials' votes to stop them from smuggling the stuff that they smuggled into the country, and then they would arrest them right on the spot. But the United States, they're doing drones and airstrikes and targeting and stuff like that, doing missile strikes, and then once again for the third time. So we're gonna see how this is gonna play out because they 3 weeks ago, almost close to a month now, they sent those three submarine jets down there, and they sent those troops down as well too. And then you had the president of Angola had a lot of soldiers, on standby, just to protect their sovereignty in their country down there in Latin America. And then 2 weeks ago, you had the United States send 10 jets down there to Puerto Rico to stop the trafficking that's been going on down in that area as well too. So they expect to see more tensions are only going to escalate between the president of Maduro of Venezuela and the president of the United States. So look of say Mark there, verse 24, and if they killed them, be divided against the southern kingdom. Understand? That's what we're seeing. The kingdom's being divided, and the nations are being divided as well too. So look at Luke 21 and verse 25, and I'm close out. Luke 20 and verse 25, and they show the signs in the sun and the moon and the stars upon the earth. Discretion of nations. This is what we like to see in the moon. Why that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the signs in the sun and the moon and the stars. We're seeing the chariot sightings, the identifying flying objects. We're seeing these blood moons. We're seeing this solar eclipse. Yeah, it says that there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars upon the earth. Expressive nations with Mrs. Rich one. So with that, hopefully this is edifying of this prophecy updates as of September 19th, 2025. It was Friday.